I bought a bunch of the LED lights from TricLED, a bunch of them. Mostly the ones that will improve safety, I'm thinking, flashing brake and things. I had already previously installed the gear brake brake light flasher, and that's worked real well. And the first set of TricLEDs that I've installed that is functioning with them also. Here is the one the third and fourth brake light sets, the short set that goes here, and the long one which will wrap around here. Oops, I can't remember where the camera's pointing. Okay, but in addition to that, I bought the unit that'll go up on the top of the trunk, the high brake light, and I also am going to install the strips that includes running lights, brake lights, and turn signals that fits a strip that fits right down in here. Now the first pigtail to install was a bear to get to the connector. This is the OEM half, this is the pigtail from TricLED, and you can see that the OEM side down in there, let me get a light and try to shine on down in there to see there, it's way down in there. Okay, so getting the part of the TricLED pigtail to plug into that, I just tried holding it with the coat hanger as is suggested by the in the directions from TricLED, and that just could not hold it firm enough to put the required amount of pressure to plug it in. I ended up using two long needle nose pliers. This one's a 45, the other one is a 30 degree, and being able to hold the two and push, I was able to get that installed. So now the other brake light, the high brake light, the one that'll go up in the cover here, the instructions say to bring it down and to plug it in to the connections on the right side of the bike. Well, I thought the other side was buried deep. This thing is buried way down in there. I don't even know if I can show it to you, and you can see it down in there, but I can't even get to it. I have elected to pull the whole trunk off the back of the bike. Not a huge task to do. That's why the seat's off of it and all the panels are off of it, is the process of getting the trunk off. I've got everything ready to pull this trunk off. The ground strap has been disconnected. The last thing is these 4 bolts, and these boom, boom, and boom. And then I can pull the whole back end off. I'm hoping that will give me the kinds of access that I need to get to those pigtail connectors. And I like to have electrical connections that are not clip-ons and crazy splices. I like nice solid electrical connections. So I want to use the pigtails provided in the kits, but it is just on this is a 2014 RT Limited, and it is just way too restrictive to try to get down in there and pull those connectors out. So I'm going to try this approach. I hope it is successful. I'll publish this if it is. There's all my panels off of it. So next step, take off the 4 bolts, get another set of hands besides my own to pull this trunk off and to set it up carefully out of the way so that I can get to it. We'll see what happens. Well, there it is. The cargo, rear cargo unit is off the bike, and much to my disappointment doesn't give me any better access unless I start tearing it apart to get to those connectors, which I may do. I don't know yet. But thought while we had this off of here, I'd shoot a quick video of what it looks like under a 2014 RT Limited. This is the, of course, the air ride, the rear air shock inlet valve that I have normally a phobo monitor, tire pressure monitor attached to. Various connectors that had to be undone to get this thing off of here. But it's this is the gear brake again. I showed that in the other segment for flashing the brake lights. Works very nicely. Gives like 4 or 5, I think 5 or so rapid flashes, and then the brake light stays steady as long as you're on the pedal. So I'm just a little frustrated for access to, it's not TricLED's problem, their fault. This was a design by and placement of these connectors by RCD. I'm going to try and figure out, I'm not real sure how to take a tail light assembly out of there. I probably could put this module right back on the bike, and if I could easily remove that. And I think there are 3 bolts that hold, I read that somewhere, that holds a tail light assembly on. Obviously 1, 2, but exactly where the 3rd one is, my luck, it's on the back side where you can't get to it. I do not know. I have to investigate that. I looked through, by the way, the manual for information about removal of that taillight assembly. In the field service manual, at least a copy I have, green manuals from Midwest Manuals, and nothing, not a word in there in any of the sections that I could find. I did a search for taillights and could not find. It even has a reference in there about removal replacement of taillights, and there is no section. It says there's a section, I don't know, subsection 7 or something, but I couldn't find it. So anyhow, I'm blithering a bit, frustrated. I want to get my bike back on the road, and the wife and I enjoying it, but I do want to get all these lights on, and I do want to make proper connections. So I'm not sure exactly what we're going to be doing here next. Yeah, I guess I was one of those kids that had to take everything apart to see how it was made. Anyhow, it's off. I fabricated a stand to put the rear cargo air components up on. Now, what I'm going to try to do is remove this piece across here. There's 2 screws back in here, Torx smaller than the 30s. I think they're a T20, and then 2 inside. Once the covers drop down, and there are where are they? 3 along here according to the parts manual, and that whole panel should come out of there. And if it does, of course, I've got this, I'm not sure if that's connected. I think it is, but anyhow, if it does, I should have the ability then to get to the 3rd screw for the tail lights, which is hidden back up under there. And once the tail lights are out, have total access to all those wiring connectors I need to get to, and not and have the integrity of the connectors that I'm looking for. It's a heck of a project, but what else have I got to do? And indeed, removing those screws did drop the whole panel down. Here it is, off. There's the access to the 3rd screw to get the tail light out of the way, to get the connectors. I hope that's the next step. Pull both tail lights out and see what access I finally have. Now with the tail light down and out of there, easy access to that connector, which is the one I've got to put the pigtail in to support top brake light, and maybe also, I'm not sure, I haven't read the directions for the saddlebag run, stop, turn signal strip, which will fit on the edge of the piece I just removed in this area. So we keep working.